Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Codie, and you're here back with Codie's podcast. We're here with Binod, one of my good friends. How's it going, Binod? What's going on?
Nothing new, but yeah, it's another day. Thanks for inviting me on the podcast again.
Of course.
Good to be back over here again. So we talk about the things happening. I,
Cool,
I
cool.
really like to be over here talk about the things with you.
That's dope. Of course. It's Codie's podcast. Who wouldn't want to be here? Like,
Yeah,
it's a
true.
given. So, how about the UFC fights last night? What you think about the main event? Let's just jump right into it. These two guys that had a crazy bitter rivalry, right? They used to be really good friends.
Yeah,
But
this looks like somehow it's set up too. For me somehow like how these guys they used to be a good friend. They were still good friend, and all of a sudden they become like a rival out of nowhere.
Binod,
Like
Binod, I'm gonna tell you how it is in MMA. A lot of times you got guys that's the same weight class in the gym training with each other in the same organization. So, say for instance, your training partners is gonna always be one or two weight classes away from you. Usually it's the same weight class. So if me and you are the same weight class, right? We both 155ers, right? And we train at Gym X. And Gym X, we in the UFC, right? But we both in the UFC. But we friends, we training all the time. Eventually, we may have to fight. That's just how that works out. I mean, it's a given. I've trained with guys that I fought before a lot of times. I've trained with guys that I fought their teammates. And it's just vice versa. It's just everybody fights everybody. So
yeah, that just really happens.
it's the fight game.
It's a
We all
fight game.
fight, you
Yeah,
know?
we all fight. No matter
Yeah.
no matter if your teammate
But
or
what you think about
yeah.
the fight itself? Like, how did you think the fight was gonna play out?
The fight, cause I was Kobe's fight and I was Masvidal's last fight. And Kobe, somehow I found that Kobe has some strong mentality. He could take a
He has that
punches,
wrestling
and
mentality.
he's got cardio like non-stop cardio.
Yeah,
He could like
keep
run around
going.
like do
Yeah.
whatever like all 5 rounds. So that's the advantage point of Kobe. But Masvidal, renowned striker, like he's a killer. You know what I mean? I
Shout
mean
out to
the
Gamebred.
expectation was different versus what really happened. But it was like the lit fight. I would
Yeah,
say.
honestly, the fight kind of went how I would expect it to win if Colby was gonna win, because you got to understand these guys have been training with each other for years and years and years. So when you train it, you even notice when they were fighting each other, their striking looked really similar.
True story.
Their striking looked really similar. How they were throwing their shots, their stance was almost the same. So you got to understand, these guys know each other so well. I figured that it would be more of a methodical kind of fight. And you're not going to go out there and just blast the guy that you train with for years and years and years, because you know what he's capable of. So you got to really think. You can't kind of just throw caution to the wind. So I knew the fight was going to go at a slow, methodical pace. And Kobe took advantage of those times that Masvidal put his back against the cage. The thing is about this, when you're a striker, you have to stay in the middle of the ring or the middle of the octagon. Easier said than done. It's difficult. You got a guy that's not trying to let you win or not trying to let you get any space. But, it's easier said than done, but you want to stay in the center.
Yeah, Kobe, he really talk a lot of shit. Like when it comes to the fight, like he talks about a
Talk a
lot
lot
of
of shit
shit.
and a
So
piece of shit.
and also like he also does the good performance at the ring too. So, but it really not related to each other. Like talking versus like what you do on your rings. What I think personally, with all due respect to Kobe, because he's a great fighter, great athlete, he's a champion. But like nobody's supposed to cross the line. When you talk, because you're in social media, you're on a television. You have like lot of followers, like kids watching you.
Yeah, I
They're
mean,
watching you.
yeah.
The family watching you, and if you really try to cross somebody on the live TV, it's definitely not gonna look good.
That's just what happens when you out to make the money. At the end of the day, controversy sells, rivalry sell. That sells, and also anybody that know about Chael Sonnen or know who Chael Sonnen is know the Kobe Covington antics. So basically, they do the pro wrestling way, right? The pro wrestling way is how they're going to take on the character in and out of the ring. So they call it being a heel, right? Being a heel is you the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So Kobe is taking on that heel persona and taking it and taking it to 100. Because at the end of the day, you know you crossing the line when you speaking on someone's children. You know, it's just that's beyond fighting. That's beyond fighting because it's like what the children have to do with it. But that's just his antics. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't. I'm personally, I don't like that aspect. If you don't like me and I don't like you and we're gonna fight, you could talk smack. I'll talk smack, whatever. But talk about the children, the wife, the kids.
It's a same type of shit which Conor McGregor does that too. You know?
Yeah.
He does it all the time.
But this is what I'm saying. You know why I give Kobe a pass right now? Because Kobe is actually a little bit more relevant with the with his fighting. He's fighting the best of the best, and he's winning. Other than Usman, right? He's a great champion. So, but Conor McGregor, he's just, I don't know. That's a different aspect. Like tweeting about people
and deleting the tweet
and
like
this is
the
my
next
thing.
day.
Any man, you could do what you want. But I mean, that's kind of corny to me. That's my opinion.
I mean,
You know, a great fighter. You know, did a lot for the sport. But the tweeting, what they call that Twitter fingers, I think they should leave that outside of fighting. I mean, if we're gonna fight, we the same weight class or whatever, or you don't like me, I don't like you. Let's talk some shit. Let's make some money. Let's fight. But I mean, talking about this person, that person, religion, that's a little bit much.
I think
because
somehow those
somebody
talking
could put a bullet in your
shits
head.
like that, shits like that, you know, people gonna be, you know, buying more pay-per-view, I think.
That's the end game, right? That is the end game.
Yeah.
Obviously.
That's the you know, true fact behind that, cuz sometimes you just want to, you know, bring up some chaos outside to hype up the people.
But it's going, I mean, yo, it's MMA. MMA fighters. This is crazy people. They sign up to go fight in a cage, right? Not everybody's going to be so chill and relaxed and just decide to play by the rules and be a nice guy. You got to have some villains, right? But I mean, that's a little too far. Crazy things have been said. We all love Mike Tyson, but it is what it is, you know? What else you think about that card, though? You know about RDA? Rafael Dos Anjos?
Yeah, RDA.
That fight?
Yeah, that fight was crazy, man. All bloody fight, man. But
You think they should have stopped that fight?
At some point, yeah. But this, you know, I watched Dana White's interview, you know, after the post fight, you know, because, you know, they were talking about the fight over there too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they could, or, you know, because, you know, that's going to be unfair to the guy. I mean,
Unfair to the guy. I mean, yo, this is the thing
because,
about...
you know, these guys are like monster, man. They don't want to stop. You know what I mean? They
sometimes
want to fight.
you gotta
Like, they
save people
just
from
wanna fight.
themselves.
So, you know, sometimes the referee's decision to, you know, let them continue the fight, and by the end of the fight, when you realize this, you know, look back the
This
third
is
round,
this is what I gotta tell people, because the judging and cornering about stopping fights. This is the thing about fighters. This is just the thing. Fighters, when majority of fighters, when they go out there, they're gonna be willing to die in that ring or octagon.
True.
Majority of fighters, they're not gonna give up. They're not gonna, because you taught not to give up. Once you give up, that's a chink in your armor that can be used against you as a fighter. If you're known as a quitter, you're always gonna quit.
True.
So no fighter's gonna give up. No fighter's gonna wave it off, because that's throwing a white flag in, right? So as referees and as cornermen, sometimes you may have to save your fighter from irreversible damage, because you could lose a fight and not be damaged for the rest of your career. But you go win a fight and be beat up the whole fight, and that fight will last you your whole career, and you'll never be the same.
Mm-hmm.
They have fights like that where fighters have fights and they never haven't been the same after. Which bring me to which actually makes me remember the we recorded. Yeah, so it brings me to the fight with Calvin Kattar and Max Holloway. You remember that fight?
Yeah, I remember that fight. Yeah, that fight was wild. A dog fight, I would say.
Yo, The amount of shots that Calvin Kattar took from Max Holloway, I
Well,
thought his career was gonna be over.
yeah.
I said, yo,
yeah, he
what
was
the
sent
fuck?
straight up to the hospital after that fight.
Yo, he took so much fights, or he took so much shots. I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy. It was inhumane. It was inhumane how many shots he was taking. But I say that to say this: he won his following fight. He won against Giga Chikadze. He beat him, and that's a crazy, super high level, talented striker, kickboxer. You know Giga, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy 145. So yeah, Calvin Kattar beat him, but after taking that crazy damage from Max Holloway.
Yeah, Max Holloway, he always does the damages, man, because I watched his last two fights. The both went the same way. Like, he
Who did he
actually...
fight last?
I forgot his name. The dude from South America.
Oh, yeah. I actually missed that fight.
Yeah, that fight, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, yeah. That fight was a great fight, man. Like, both of these motherfuckers, they, like, fucking trying to fuck them each other, you know what I mean?
Yo, bro. One thing about the UFC or MMA, they always delivering, like with great
like,
fights.
Shit, and yeah, that fight wasn't on pay-per-view, so that was free.
The fighters now is
Yeah,
so entertaining.
That was
entertaining.
awesome, yeah. Yeah, man, Max Holloway, he looks like he's a different breed, bro. So I'm not sure when is he gonna get the title shot again.
He was supposed to fight Volkanovski. He pulled out because he had an injury. So Volkanovski is fighting Korean Zombie right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So
What do you think about that fight? Because that fight got me excited.
That fight, I don't think Korean Zombie should fight him because Korean Zombie, I think he's coming off of a loss, possibly.
No, I think he had a win.
Yeah, I think he's coming off a loss actually. So
Yeah. So I'm not sure, man. Like
I think Volkanovski wins that fight easily.
You
and
think
then
so?
I think yep.
You think so? I think Korean Zombie, he's
good.
He's like a
good.
zombie, yeah.
He's good, but I mean, I seen what's his name? What's the boy? 145? He from California. Dang, what's his name? Brian Ortega. Brian Ortega was beating Korean Zombie badly. So
Okay.
and I seen what Volkanovski beat. So they say MMA math don't work, but Volkanovski beat Brian Ortega. Brian Ortega like outclassed Korean Zombie. So I think Volkanovski is gonna just beat
Brian Ortega, what type of MMA fighter he is? He's a grappler.
He's a everything, bro.
he's a
Listen,
'cause
everybody,
I really never watched Brian Ortega.
you gotta watch him. He's 145.
Okay.
He should. All right. So if Max Holloway wasn't the champ and Volkanovski wasn't the champ, Brian Ortega would be the champ. He lost to both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, for the title. So
Okay. I think I might.
he's like
watch
the
his
third
fight.
best at that weight class, I would say.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, he's the third best. He's from California, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
What do you think about Dan Hooker going on flyweight?
Flyweight?
No, not flyweight. He's
Hell
going on.
no, he not making.
He's going on
Featherweight?
the featherweight.
That's-
Now
well,
flyweight is like too low
shit.
for the
For
feather-
him, that guy's huge. I mean, he's really tall. For him to get down to 145.
He fought on 145.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's diminished returns, I think. But you got Jose Aldo, so only time will tell. You got to get in there and see.
Because when I'm looking at Dan Hooker, he actually trying to be a champion of
145?
145. Because he was at 145 and he was outclassed by his opponents on the fights. Like
Who did
when
he fight
he
at
was
145?
with all due respect to the martial arts, when the people look for entertainment purpose, like
You know who I like for jiu-jitsu?
who?
Nick Diaz.
Yeah, Nick
Like,
Diaz.
Or Nate Diaz. Like, when they do their jiu-jitsu, they go fast with it.
Yeah.
They just boom, 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 boom. They go fast. Like, they
Right.
go for the submission. They go for the submission immediately. They don't. Well, I mean,
Yeah, they both.
I'm saying what entertains me.
Yeah,
Because as
true.
a fighter, you got to fight how you can win.
True.
That's how you fight, win all your fights, make money. That's most
That's
important.
it. I mean, win is the win.
But for
That's
my
it.
entertainment, I like Nick and Nate Diaz when they do jiu-jitsu and they go for their submission ASAP. Like, they don't play games. I think Nate Diaz got the most submissions in UFC history. Submission.
Yeah.
Let me look that up.
I think Khabib.
Come on.
I'm not
Khabib
sure.
do not have that. Come on, bro.
Okay, okay.
I'm going to look it up right now.
Yeah, I like jiu-jitsu too, cause jiu-jitsu. I was on a training at UFC gym for a few days.
How did
Like I was in a UFC.
Charles
gym.
Oliveira actually got the most submissions.
Yeah, Charles Oliveira. Yeah, true.
Nate Diaz is up there, though. Charles Oliveira and Nate Diaz.
Yeah, Charles
know.
Oliveira. Yeah, since you already mentioned, bring up the Charles Oliveira. He's fighting Justin Gaethje for the title.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what the next schedule on the fight. What do you think about it? Is that a good matchup for the title shot?
I think it's the right. Pardon me. I think it's the right matchup right now.
Yeah, right.
It's the correct matchup because we don't. I sound like a Conor hater, but we don't need Conor fighting for the title right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need Conor fighting for the title right now. I want him to win. I want him to win, and then fight for that title. But yeah, Justin Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira. I think that's the correct fight. I personally have Charles Oliveira winning that fight, but by submission. I feel like Justin Gaethje is gonna hurt him, and then he's gonna submit him.
I mean, look.
That's how I feel like. Cause I see how the fights. How Charles Oliveira, he's straight up pressure, good Muay Thai. Sometimes he gets hit though.
Sometimes.
Hey, bro, he could go to jiu-jitsu straight up like Nick and Nate Diaz. Boom, jiu-jitsu there.
I watched his last two fights. One with Mike Chandler, the other one with Dustin Poirier. He's got dropped on both fights first round. So you know what that means? Justin Gaethje has more like massive danger power,
Exactly.
bro. So if some shit like that happens, like if he gets hit with the fucking Justin Gaethje, the punch and kicks or whatever, bro, like there's a chances that Charles Oliveira get dropped and get KO'd, bro.
No, Charles Oliveira gonna win, bro.